Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. With me, Justin Barley. No dirtbag Dave this week as he is out of town in Vegas, living it up like a rock star. Good for him. Hope he wins a lot of money this week. Hope he places some bets because we're not allowed to bet here in Tampa, good old Florida. So hopefully Justin is on mute, or his microphone's not plugged in, or he's a really, really good mime.
Yeah, I try to be on mine. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. I don't know why I'm muted. Yeah. Oh, you guys can't bet in Florida?
No, the Seminoles.
Can't read books in school. Can't bet in Florida. That's crazy.
Seminoles took over. They took it over, and then we got a lot of commercials on our television going, "The Seminoles think they can make this a monopoly? Not in our state." And then, you saw that for a good 6 months, and then all of a sudden it got shut down. So awesome! Thank you, white people, for not letting us gamble. Yes. What's up, Jerry?
Yes.
Sun's out, guns out. That's all we do. That's how we do here at OUS, right? We don't wear sleeves over here, right? That's just the bottom line. Where we got arms like Michael Pittman. If you don't know him, he's the running back for the Buccaneers. The running back,
Michael Pittman,
senior,
Super
Bowl champion, as Jerry Blackburn would know in the chat. But we gotta plug our stuff over here. We gotta plug our X, our Twitter, because if you type in Twitter on your iPhone, no longer comes up. You need to type in X. Test it out. I updated my phone last night, and I cannot type in Twitter, and it does not show up as my app. So pretty annoying.
Mine shows up.
Oh, well, mine does not. Well, you need to update your iPhone.
I have two though.
There you go. Anyway, follow us on X at Fins Talk Sports Network, at Justin Barley, at Viking David 18, and of course me at Josh Kimmel OUS. For all you podcast listeners, I know you're out there. Please check out our YouTube page on YouTube, Fins Talk Sports Network. There's a bunch of Miami Dolphins shows on here. We have soccer, we have basketball, we have it all. More importantly, we have us.
And subscribe. That's a big one.
Well, that was my next point. If you want to, Jerry, when you're here, because it's your first time being here, Jerry, just hit that subscribe button, hit the alerts. You know when we come on every single Wednesday night. And soon, coming this Tuesday at noon, we'll be dropping our daily live, not daily, our
daily once a week.
Yes, once a week on Tuesdays. At noon, we'll be doing a waiver show, a waiver special. So it's going to be fun. We'll still have our guns out as well. But we got a week one. Week one is one sleep away. I believe tomorrow at this time, we'll be watching Al Michaels. Is he still on NBC? I don't know anymore.
No, Al Michaels is on Amazon now.
Everyone's changing. Joe Buck's on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
I just want to hear Chris Collinsworth. He's my favorite of all time. Now, here's a guy. I say that shit all the time. Now, here's a guy. I say that constantly.
You don't say it ironically like everyone else in America?
Ironically. I don't say ironically.
I say it ironically.
Here's a guy. No, I actually think
I could live with never hearing Chris Collinsworth's voice ever again. Yes.
Now here's a guy,
and he's a Cincinnati Bengal.
Here's a guy who doesn't have taste and good commentary. Now, this is totally.
You like John Gruden too, didn't you?
No, I wasn't a Gruden guy. Okay, my favorite. I was going to tell you my favorite dream booth, just two guys. It'd be Joe Buck and Chris Collinsworth. The two best at their craft. The two best at their craft. Joe Buck, no one's better than Joe Buck. And honestly, Chris Collinsworth gives more insight than anyone else in the business right now.
Their voices are very iconic for what they do, though. So everybody knows what Sunday at 4:25 Eastern time.
Not anymore. He's on Monday night.
Everybody knows what 8:20 Monday night sounds like.
Don't get me started on Romo there in the chat, Jerry. Romo's awful.
We're going to lose Jerry as a fan so quickly.
The point of a color commentary is to explain to you what happened in a play. Explain to you why this happened. Who blew it up? Who missed everything? Collinsworth gets it to a T.
That's what Tony Romo does.
Tony Romo does not.
That's exactly. He even tells you what's about to happen.
No, he's too busy telling you what's about to happen, and he forgets to tell you what did happen. Watch it this season, guys. When you hear Tony Romo, watch it. He is so worked up on telling you what's about to happen. But he's good.
You know who I like to watch? Peyton and Eli.
They're awesome, and I'm not going to be able to watch them because Spectrum decided they don't want to renew with ESPN. But anyway, we got a question at the top of my head. I wanted to ask you about this, and Jerry actually brought this up via text message when he was just texting me about IR spots. How do you feel about IR spots? How should they be? Should we have multiple IR spots, and who should be on the IR?
You
Um,
know, I
football.
think it really depends on your league format. I think in dynasty leagues it makes sense to have an IR spot. On shorter benches. I think the deeper benches you could get away without an IR spot, just mostly because you have a deep bench. I mean, your 30th spot on your team is probably a flyer that you're just stashing away anyway. I think if you're in a redraft mode, I don't like the IR spot because what's the point at that point? You're not holding on to them for next year. I think if you're in a redraft that's no keeper, nothing, just get rid of that IR spot.
This is,
I don't
I think,
understand it.
I think you're messing. And Jerry had the same point of view. IR spots not for only injured reserve
I
players.
mean, it's for out players too, I guess,
Out,
but
yes, it's very crucial. So in a dynasty, I think you should have 4 IR spots at all times. And I also think you should be allowed to put suspended players in your IR spot only in dynasty. So Jameson Williams, Calvin Ridley from the year before, I believe there needs to be a spot for that. Um, and as for redraft, I think there should be 2 IR spots, and I think you should be able to put out in IR players only, no suspended players. I think for redraft, you need to have it because we're seeing it right now in week 1. Cooper Kupp's already been labeled out. You should be able to place him in your IR. You shouldn't be penalized because he's not on IR. Same thing with Jerry Jeudy when he's going to be labeled out. If Kelce goes out, that frees up a spot for you to grab a tight end. I don't understand the rule because I did play in one league only, and I won't name any names, where he refused to let anyone put anyone on IR that is only out for 1 game or 2 games. He has to be on IR. So at that point in redraft, why am I keeping a player who's on freaking IR? What's up, Anthony? Oh, Daddy, I'm sorry. I'm reading this comment. I should probably read that out loud. Justin and Josh, I recently did I'm reading in my head like everyone can hear me. Like I'm
weird silence
I'm
on the
Professor
podcast.
X. I'm just Professor X. You could hear me, all right? Or no, I can hear you. Anyway, I hope I didn't make a mistake by drafting Justin Herbert as my first pick. If it's a super flex, it's a great pick.
I
if
love
it's
it.
not a super flex, it's an awful
I hate
pick.
it.
That's just
right.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, hopefully it's a super flex, Anthony. Otherwise, I think you wasted your first round pick.
Nah, he could be a stud. All right, let's go to the news. We already talked about Cooper Kupp out week 1. I just don't understand. He could be placed on IR. The people when you drafted him, you already knew he was out because most drafts were this weekend, so you knew this going in. This shouldn't be a surprise. Now, I am surprised that he did still go in the first round in almost every draft I did.
Yeah.
There was two drafts, I believe he went in the second, which is understandable. But man, drafting a player knowing he's going to be out the first 1, 2, maybe even 4 weeks, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough on your team.
Yeah, especially if you really go for that high draft pick. I've been saying it on this podcast for a while now. I'm not a fan of drafting Kupp. I tried to stay away from him as much as possible, and I did. Don't have any shares of Cooper Kupp. I know Dave drafted him in our league. He got good value with the 10th pick, I guess, but I'm not in love with Kupp anyway, just because of injury history.
So I saw a tweet today. Some woman who does injury news on, I forgot which platform it is. I'm so sorry that I'm butchering all this, lady. I'm sorry. You're awesome. I watch you and I think you're great, but I don't know who you are. No, but for real, she said Cooper Kupp's going to be the player who's going to be out till week 11 or week 10. And then you're going to squeeze by, get that 6th seed, and he's going to average 27 points for you in the playoffs. And that's going to be Cooper Kupp season. And she covers injuries. She understands that this is going to be a long-term injury. And that's what I'm afraid of too. Once I heard the news that Kupp was injured or already nursing the injury, I was like, I'm out on Kupp. There's about 20 other guys I'd rather have at this point. No, it wasn't Cynthia Freeland. She's awesome. She does more of statistics, but she's awesome. And I want to say this right here to everyone listening to me. Cooper Kupp went on a historic year, set all these records, broke every record. Now, this is 2 injured seasons in a row. Why isn't he getting the Michael Thomas treatment? Why aren't people saying the same goddamn thing that they said about Michael Thomas?
Right.
They're not. And I could tell you why, but none of y'all want to hear it because it's political. And this is true. It's 1000% true. And I don't care what anyone wants to talk about. But Cooper Kupp better get his stuff right, better get healthy. And I'm okay with him sitting out games. He might be better if you're a fantasy team. Would you rather have a 60% Cooper Kupp on your team, not going 100%, or someone that's going to win you weeks later on? You should have drafted Cooper Kupp knowing you're going to miss time. You should have had a backup plan. You shouldn't have drafted Cooper Kupp in the second and then Jonathan Taylor in the fifth. That's a setup for disaster. I saw multiple people do that this weekend. One of them was a host on this show, and he's in Vegas. That's a mistake, Dave. And you know it was a mistake. And you think you're too good and you think you're cocky and you can overcome it. Not this year, buddy. You fucked up. Anything else on Cooper Kupp?
No. I mean, I'm anticipating him to be on short-term IR. He might sit on that twice. But yeah, if the outlook's not until week 10, the Rams season's over by then. Could the Rams shut him down all season because of it?
Again?
I mean, it wasn't all season last year, but I think Cooper Kupp's fantasy relevancy is coming to an end.
Yep, Cooper Thomas is what I call him. Hey, Anthony wants to know, Justin and Josh, is it possible to have a league with rules for traditional fantasy football not paid for fantasy where H, Superflex, PPR, or that doesn't exist?
Rules for traditional
fantasy football not paid
H
for fantasy where H, Superflex, PPR, where have Superflex. Anthony, I'm going to ask you to rephrase the question because I'm either not understanding, but I don't know what a traditional
at the moment I'm saying that doesn't exist because I don't understand the question. I think it is possible to have a non-paid league, but
I do think Cynthia Freeland is awesome, though. Just want to add that to
she is awesome.
The podcast. Travis Kelce questionable for kickoff. Man, I am soup. This kind of put me in a depression. This hurts. Not only because I draft this guy in Scott Fishbowl 2 months ago, but I drafted him in 101. I also drafted this guy in my home league, my NWO league with my homeboys from high school, the league I want to win so bad. I drafted him at 108, thinking I'm fucking smarter than everyone else in my league. And oh boy, do I look stupid now. No, I'm really not worried long term, but I am worried week 1.
How's that 101 chat doing right now for Scott Fishbowl?
Oh, it's fine. What I'm asking is a traditional fantasy football not paid for fantasy. Does a league that offers Superflex that does exist or no?
Yeah, I actually just drafted in my college league that just transferred over to Superflex PPR league. And we haven't paid for 13 years. So it is definitely possible to find that.
Sleeper. Go on Sleeper.
Yeah.
Sleeper is great for Superflex, and a lot of people like to join. And plus, you can play free leagues like Scott Fishbowl. There's many charity leagues out there if you ever want to get in one.
Yeah.
And the fantasy footballers put on the Megala Bowl every single year. Like you can find them out there. People just like to play I'm in a fantasy dynasty league for free, and it's one of my most active leagues. Yeah. Because we all like talking, we all just like having fun. And just that's what fantasy should be. It should be for fun.
I think honestly, the league. It wasn't until last year where I finally joined a paid league. In all the years I've ever played fantasy football, maybe the year before that actually, but it's not unheard of.
When it comes to scoring, do you guys prefer PPR or the standard scoring?
I definitely prefer PPR.
Hold on, I will say PPR is the new standard scoring. If you go anywhere, set up any league, it's straight up. Oh, half PPR is the normal now. That's what I prefer these days. But Travis Kelce, speaking of half PPR, tight end premiums, he's huge in these kind of leagues. But so with Travis Kelce out, let's just say he doesn't play. Let's say he doesn't play football. They rest him 10 days because they do get that 10-day rest. They might be looking at that going, Detroit's not that good. We could probably roll them without Kelce. We have Mahomes. Let's just give our guy a 10-day rest. Are you rolling with Noah Gray? Are you pivoting to another tight end? I know we have starts and sits coming up because that's our biggest part of the show. But man, it sucks to draft Travis Kelce and not be able to use him week 1.
Yeah, but the season's also not 1 week long. So you got to think about 13 weeks. If you have a healthy Travis Kelce for 12 of those, you're looking strong. I think the Chiefs are going to rather sit Kelce on the shortened. I mean, he just hyperextended his knee yesterday. I would not be playing him tomorrow. If I was Kansas City, week 1 is not that important to me. I mean, how many times do the Chiefs start off slow and then end up on fire by the end of the season? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Thursday Night Football is already weird anyway. Just spread the ball out, get your other receivers some time, and hope for the best.
Well, we got a question in the chat. Jawan Johnson or Gerald Everett for the week. Listen, this one is kind of tough because I don't understand the Deshaun Watson hype. I know he kind of had a hot season going, finishing the season strong, but I'm just not like a believer that Derek Carr is really going to target him right off the bat. You have Olave there. You have a healthy Michael Thomas. You don't know how long you're going to have a healthy Michael Thomas. So he's probably going to want to target him as much as he can week one. And Everett, the same thing. You got Keenan Allen over there, Mike Williams. They got Quentin Johnson over there, brand new. If you're looking for a touchdown in this situation, who's going to score the touchdown? Who's going to get the more opportunities in the red zone? I'm going Gerald Everett because I think they're going to score more points. San Diego. Yeah, they should be San Diego. Better team, better name. Los Angeles is playing the Miami Dolphins, who Jalen Ramsey's out, of course, but they have a really good off in their home. Miami doesn't really travel out west really well, even though it is week one. It shouldn't matter that much, but traveling out west, Miami never does well. Start Gerald Everett for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
For a Kelce fill-in, I want to get into that because as a Kelce manager, I've been saying this all week long, or since yesterday. I'm not going to do anything. I rostered Travis Kelce. That's the only person I had. If he's out, I'm taking him from my tight end slot and I'm putting him on the bench. I'm going to let Sunday play out. If I need to put in a tight end, I will go grab one of the guys on Monday night or Sunday night, or maybe maybe a 4:00 game if I know I'm getting blown out really bad. I'm going to do that. I don't want to make any roster moves that I don't have to make right now. I don't want to because I have Marvin Mims. You have all these stashes that you like, ooh, dart throws. What if you drop a Marvin Mims or someone like late you got Jalen Reed for the Green Bay Packers and you dropped them for Jawan Johnson or Gerald Everett? So you dropped a potential guy who could pop off for 1 week to score you what? 5 points?
And that's, again, the fantasy season is not 1 week. All you have to do, you don't have to be undefeated to win your fantasy league. You can lose a week and not play a tight end. I'd rather not play a tight end than having to find a flyer at the tight end position and drop a flyer that you might like.
That goes back to the IR. Just put Kelce in your IR if you have room, and then go draft. Don't pick up Noah Gray. You don't want that guy. But go for the Sunday night games. I think Ferguson for the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe you want – there's nobody for the Giants because everyone has Waller. And the Monday night game is Tyler Conklin for the Jets. And for who are the Jets playing? The
Jets are playing – oh, I just had this. Buffalo, Monday night.
Buffalo. Dawson Knox, because a lot of people have Kincaid, but they don't understand rookie tight ends don't really do anything week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, or week 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, unless you're Kyle Pitts or Jeremy Shockey, right? So Dawson Knox could still be a good pickup for someone on the fly. And those guys are all available, all of them. Like nobody has Knox, nobody has Jake Ferguson from Dallas, so those are easy. That's what I plan on doing as a Kelce manager.
So let's get through the rest of the news here.
Oh! Joe Burrow's good to go. Hey, Travis Kelce's a big deal, and a lot of people are.
He is.
These next two news articles, we're gonna go real quick. Like Joe Burrow's good to go. He's gonna play. Everyone, calm down. Joe Burrow will be on the field. Tiger King he didn't even miss any time. He's back.
No,
don't worry about it. Start your studs. Start Joe Burrow. There. See, was that fast enough for you, Justin?
There you go.
Okay. Josh Dobbs in Arizona has been named the starter for the Arizona Cardinals. I picked him up in super flex leagues if he was still on the wire. Other than that, he's just a hold.
Yeah.
Just think about this, and I want everyone to know. Don't worry, Josh or Justin. I won't go on a long novel, monologue like I usually do. But the 32nd best quarterback in all formats of fantasy, the 32nd best will still score you more points on average than like the running back 15 or like the receiver 22.
You taught me this last year, and I won my league because of it.
So, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Josh Dobbs." Like I in my home league, I'm like, Josh Dobbs, Clayton Tune, like y'all should be drafting these people. Laughed at.
People thought I was crazy because I drafted a 5th quarterback before anybody had like their 3rd or 4th quarterback, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm also getting quarterback 18 and 19. When your backup quarterback is like QB 30, 31, I'm fine. You guys can trade for him later.
But to put that in perspective, like a Josh Dobbs could average you 11 or 12, 13 points a game still be really, really, really bad at quarterback, right? That's bad for a quarterback. But if he's in your super flex and your other option is Gus Edwards or Rashad White, I mean, Rashad White could pop
Hopefully,
off, but
hopefully you're not relying on Josh Dobbs to be your
but what I'm
QB2 though on
saying
your
is
team.
he
But
needs
yeah,
to be rostered in all super flex leagues,
yeah,
regardless of the format. All quarterbacks need to be rostered no matter what.
agreed.
All right, let's go on to our starts and sits of the week. This is hard. It's week 1. Start your studs. Like
So
in the show.
I have a question for you. This comes from our Discord channel, our Discord server. This guy has a full point PPR, and he's looking for his flex position. He's got Terry McLaurin versus Arizona, Christian Kirk versus Indianapolis, Khalil Herbert versus Green Bay, or Brandon Cooks versus the New York Giants.
Okay. Before I answer that, if you're in the chat, Jerry, Anthony, join our Discord. It's linked in the YouTube page. I hope Justin did that. If he didn't, he will, or nobody will, and we'll just tell you to message us.
Follow us on social media. You'll find the Discord channel.
Yes, because that's the best way to be part of the community and have fun. Now,
Yeah.
ask the question again. I was just buying time.
Okay, so it is Terry McLaurin against Arizona,
Out.
Christian Kirk versus Indianapolis, Khalil Herbert versus Green Bay, Brandon Cooks versus the Giants.
Christian Kirk.
I was about to say, I agree. I'm going Christian Kirk here because as a Colts fan, I don't trust the Colts DBs. Dallas Flowers and some random guy I haven't even heard of. They're not even starting their second round pick. This is the week. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is going to come out. The Colts haven't beaten the Jaguars this is in Indianapolis, but the Colts haven't won a week 1 in I can't even tell you how long since Andrew Luck was last playing. Christian Kirk's your guy.
So Terry McLaurin's probably missing the game, so he's out of the question. Khalil Herbert could be interesting because he could pop off week 1, but I highly doubt it. Like pop
against
off
Green Bay.
And then Christian Kirk is just. I still believe. I know a lot of people don't want to believe this or don't want to hear it. Christian Kirk is the one there in Jacksonville. He will be the number 1 target, as we already noted that Trevor Lawrence's yards per attempt are very low. He likes to target the slot and the flats. He's not a big deep ball thrower. Then you can argue, well, he didn't have one. Well, Zay Jones can run the deep ball, and he did. Zay Jones did really well in the deep game last year. It's just they didn't like to throw deep. That's just not their game. So Trevor Lawrence will be targeting Christian Kirk throughout week 1 and the whole season. So and Calvin Ridley will get his, but week 1, they're not really familiar with each other. Kirk and Trevor had a huge season last year. Fired up again, man. It's fired up again. Who was the last guy?
It was Brandon Cooks.
Oh, I'm not starting him until I see something. He's like
Right.
Santa Claus. I need to see it before to believe it. All right. So are we going to go one by, hey, there's the Discord. I knew you were doing something.
There you go.
I knew you were doing something. Do you want to go through our general starts and sits and then go through our personal ones a little bit after?
Yeah.
All right. So we have our start of the week at quarterback. Now, let me say this to all you people listening. These are all no-brainers because week 1 should all be no-brainers. Don't get too cute. I got people texting me at 10 p.m. asking me about this guy, Christian Watson, this guy, and that guy. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Start your studs, man. Like, why should I start Kadarius Toney because Travis Kelce's out? Did you draft Kadarius Toney to start him week 1? No, you didn't. So why are we even asking this question? It's idiotic. So start your stud, guys. Stop beating yourselves. So Lamar Jackson, quarterback 1 against Houston. This right here is obviously a no-brainer. But why is it the no-brainer? Why, Justin? Is he the number 1 quarterback going? That's what we're saying. He's going to be the number 1 quarterback.
Yep.
Why is that?
You know what? I had this. You got to factor in. You look at the top guys. Has no receivers this week. Probably no Travis Kelce on Thursday Night Football on the opener night. You could start him. I mean, that's the obvious. You're gonna start Patrick Mahomes no matter what. Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts. He's playing against New England, but Lamar Jackson against Houston.
Yep.
Against Houston. I'm sorry.
So
he's an absolute no-brainer. He's got receivers more receivers than he's ever had in his life before. He's going to be throwing to his guys. He's going to be running the ball and proving that he can be QB1 of the entire league again. He's going to want to prove very quickly that his guys are his guys and they are going to be a dominant team too. And everybody needs to stop focusing so much on the Bengals in the North.
So many teams this offseason passed on Lamar Jackson. So many teams could have had Lamar Jackson. Nobody wanted to pay Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar Jackson is on a FU tour, as in, I'm going to ball this year. I'm going to go back to 2019, and I'm going to throw for X amount of touchdowns. I'm going to drop bombs on you, and I'm going to rush for 1,000 yards. What a better way to start. There's no way better to start than Houston. Houston they're just going to get whipped up and down the field. New offense, by the way. I'm excited to see this new offense. That kind of scares me just a little bit, but I believe Lamar's talent will get him through. The rushing will show through, and he will get some deep balls out to Zay Flowers. Maybe we see ODB score. I would love to see Odell Beckham play and score again. Lamar Jackson, just a number one brainer. But, I mean, of course, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. So that's why as the weeks go on, we'll have better ones for you guys. But I'm not going to sit here and say, Baker Mayfield has a great Minnesota matchup, because he does, but nobody's starting Baker.
Right.
Nobody. So why even say it?
And if you are, sorry.
So here's a juicy one though. The quarterback sit. It's Deshaun Watson against Cincinnati. I just don't see where this could be good for Deshaun Watson, because last year he was so bad, right? He's still coming off of, but he has a full offseason this year, and he doesn't have as much distraction around him. But the problem's not him. The problem's his coach. The problem is Kevin Stefanski likes to run the ball, and they have Nick Chubb, who likes to run the ball. And they're playing Cincinnati, who is the slowest offensive team in the NFL. The slowest. You might think of them high scoring. You might think of them putting up 30, 40 points a game, but they do it at a methodical pace. So that's going to slow this game down, which means there's going to be a lot more time for running the ball with Nick Chubb, and a lot less throwing attempts for your boy Deshaun Watson. I don't like to play any quarterback against Cincinnati just for that simple reason. But the fact is that Watson was shaky from last season. He's got Elijah Moore, brand new. He's got to find this chemistry with Amari Cooper that he really didn't have last year. And they're going to want to get Nick Chubb running down Cincinnati's throat, keeping Joe Burrow off the field. So that's why I'm saying this, if you can sit Deshaun Watson, do it. You got him late. Maybe this is where you get cute, and this is where you start a Baker. I don't think you should do it. I would still start Watson, but don't get that cute. But if you drafted Watson, and then maybe you have a Kirk Cousins that you maybe paired him with because you got Cousins way later, I'd start Cousins. But Deshaun Watson's off my radar for week 1. Don't start him in DFS.
So running backs, we start Nick Chubb against Cincinnati. I know we literally just said don't start Deshaun Watson, but to get back into a rhythm, you're going to be running the ball. Everybody is marking Nick Chubb as a top 3 running back in the league this year. I've even seen as high as 1. Don't agree, but I have seen him as RB1 within this last week, actually. Cincinnati, Nick Chubb is a stud. There's no more to it. 1 p.m. game. Start your studs. Let's not get cute. Obviously start McCaffrey and Eckler and Barkley and all of them, but Chubb is probably going to be the top running back this week.
Nick Chubb averages 5.1 yards per carry against Cincinnati, period. He averages 88.6 yards rushing on the ground a game against Cincinnati. He's played a total of 10 games. So this is a huge sample size. The guy averages 0.8 touchdowns rushing on the ground. So he's kind of a lock for a touchdown on you for you. And get this, like, he even gets a 1 catch a game. 1 catch a game for Nick Chubb against Cincinnati. Sign me up for that, baby. That's 1 free point that he usually doesn't get. So Cincinnati is a Bengal killer. The numbers don't lie. This guy loves playing this team. Fire up Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
But sit. I'm going to let you guys talk about these guys, because this is a whole committee.
Yeah, we're going to talk about an entire committee to sit this week. I know a lot of people literally just watched the league pick up 3 of these guys on waivers today and spent money on them. The Indianapolis running back room against Jacksonville. I can't tell you the last time Indianapolis won week 1 in general, but now subtract Jonathan Taylor out of that, your best player on the entire field, let alone in this running back room. Now you're looking at Zach Moss, if he's healthy, Deion Jackson, and rookie Evan Hull from Northwestern. Josh, who you taking in that lineup? Of those three, who are you taking? None of them. Why? Because the Indy running back committee, I'm saying committee, is going with the hot hand. They're not going to commit to one starter or two people. They're going with who runs the ball the best. You know that year where Jonathan Taylor just randomly was taken out of like games during the season? That's because they went with that running back who had the hot hand. Deion Jackson had a hot hand that game. We're going to play Deion Jackson more often. Doesn't make any sense for fantasy football. Stay away from the Indy running back room. I'm telling you, you're going to be surely disappointed. I made 2 waiver claims today with some of these guys and was very happy that I got outbid because my instincts came back to me and I was like, you know what? That was a bad move. I'm glad that didn't work out for me. Don't play these guys.
Seriously. If I had to play one, it'd be Deion, but I'm
It
staying
would be
away as
Deion.
well.
It 100% would be Deion. He's the more physical runner. Zach Moss didn't make anything out of his chances last year after getting traded for Nyheim Hines. Deion Jackson's the guy. He's the proven guy over the last 2 or 3 years. Evan Hull's a sneaky pick for later on. I think Evan Hull legitimately could be RB1 by the end of the season if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play or gets traded. But this week, I'm not playing any of these guys.
There you go. So our start of the week for the wide receiver position is Garrett Wilson versus Buffalo. I'm really happy with you and I agreed on this one. Garrett Wilson is just a machine. Don't be afraid to start him as your. If you got him as your wide receiver one, if you drafted him, he is your wide receiver one, most likely. He is going to make you so happy.
Yeah.
We are going to get into this later. I'm surprised we didn't open with our fantasy MVPs. I must have forgot about him.
Oh, we did forget about him. We talked so much about comments and starts and sits, and
but
we'll get
it's okay. But I'll just throw it out there. He's my guy, my MVP. But Garrett Wilson is going to torch this Buffalo Bills defense. I think Aaron Rodgers has something to prove. In week 1, he will do that. And he will find his new best friend in Garrett Wilson. If you've watched any highlights on Hard Knocks, you know these guys are going to make magic. If you've seen them in the preseason, it's going to be easy. You're going to be like, wow, this is like Devontae Adams and Rodgers, but 10 times better.
Yeah.
I said that. I said that, guys. 10
No, it
times
is.
better.
Yeah. I think it's the best chance to get a wide receiver that's on the Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill level without getting Justin Jefferson or Tyreek Hill. You got Garrett Wilson's going in the second round in most leagues. Crazy enough that he's still going in the second round. He's not getting drafted in the first round, even in non-superflex leagues, which is absolutely crazy. This is such good value for this guy. He is going to win leagues this year. Aaron Rodgers is going to light him up. And in week 1 against rival Buffalo, where you're probably going to have to score a lot of points against, Garrett Wilson's going to be the guy.
There we go. And we're going to go ahead and sit every single Kansas City receiver. I know I told you, I'm not lying about this. And Jerry, you're not the only one. Multiple people ask me, should I start Tony? Should I go Sky Moore? What do we do? And I always say the same response. What would you do normally? Would you ever start these bums? Would you draft these bums? Why do you have them on your team? Do you know do you have a magic 8 ball to show you who's going to be the receiver 1 that week? You don't. I don't want to play that game. I'm out of that game. I don't want anything to do with this. Tony, Sky Moore, Watson, any of them.
Rashee Rice, MVS.
Justin Ross. Like, Patrick Mahomes is so good. He doesn't care who you are. He just finds the open guy and gets it to you.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to catch the ball. He's not going to focus on Kadarius Toney. He's not a game changer. He's not going to focus on Sky Moore. He's not Tyreek. Everyone chill out.
The ball's going to get spread it's going to get spread more than butter on bread.
There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Justin's over here. We don't have Dave, and he's our comedy relief. Everyone give him a clap. That was really good. So Kansas City receivers, no thank you. It's Kelce or bust. We already knew that. Let me ask you this. When Gronk was out, back in the day, some of you kids don't even remember this. Back in the day, when Gronk was out, were you running to get exactly? Were you running to get another Patriot receiver? I'm just
Aaron
asking.
Hernandez.
Just
Oh, that
I'm
was a
just
tight end. Never
asking,
mind.
were any of you going, hey, I'm going to grab this Patriot receiver because Gronk is out? No, that wasn't happening. So same concept.
I don't even know who their wide
Ex-
receiver
ex-
other than Randy Moss. Like,
that's my point.
yeah,
That's literally my point. I mean, that's 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 the joke.
yeah,
No, stop doing it. It's not going to happen. It's Kelce or bust, or it was Gronk or bust.
yeah. That's it. That's
All
it.
right.
That's it.
Tight end. We have one tight end, and I don't feel good about this one. But Justin made a good point in our pre-show meeting. So go ahead and tell me why he is our start of the week for tight end.
You know how I feel about Kyle Pitts. I'm not a fan. I'm trying to get on this train that you're really leading here. And I can't believe I'm the one that has to say this week, but Kyle Pitts is my start of the week for the tight end position. Not of the week. I'm sorry. I have a different start of the week. Kyle Pitts is my tight end to start this week because if you consider Kyle Pitts as a top 5 tight end in the league, let's look at the other 4. Mark Andrews, questionable. We got Travis Kelce, questionable, most likely out. TJ Hawkinson, questionable. Kittle, questionable. He practiced today, but questionable. Who else is going to play? Like, Kyle Pitts is going to be your guy. Sunday Night Football against Dallas. I think they're going to actually come out and do decent, not win, but I think Kyle Pitts is actually going to have a good week this week. Just because by default he has to be the best tight end out there. I know you have somebody else, but I think Kyle Pitts might actually do well this week.
So this is what scares me about Kyle Pitts, and I don't disagree with this. Obviously, he is like you should start him regardless. But I'm looking at his totals, and I like to do this year because I think it matters, right? Like Mike Evans versus New Orleans, don't start him because they'll shut him down. Some players just can't play us against a certain team. Kyle Pitts against the Panthers have been straight trash. 14 catches, 182 yards, and one
I looked
touchdown.
at the wrong line. Yeah, I said Dallas, and I meant Carolina. That's
Carolina,
more of what I meant. Carolina's trash.
Yeah, but Kyle Pitts is also trash versus Carolina in his career. Not very good. Now you can say that, well, Kyle Pitts isn't very good regardless. Well, guys, chill out. He had 1,000 yards his rookie season. In his rookie season, none of those came from Carolina. He was shut down both times. Last year, he had an 80-yard game on 9 targets with 5 catches, and he also had a 28-yard game on 8 targets, 2 catches. It could be hit or miss. We don't know with Desmond Ridder how he's going to target him. We don't know how that offense is going to look. But I will say this. Last year, we saw him against Carolina go deep. His average reception was 16 yards in the first game and 14 in the last. Before that, it was only 12 and 6. So they really target those linebackers and the safeties covering him. They try to get him the ball deep. Maybe that's why he didn't come down with those 8 or 9 targets as much as he'd like. Now, maybe if they use him more as an effective receiver and give him quality targets, damn right, start him up. But I'm just afraid of how they're going to use him, because we haven't seen this offense go with Bijan Robinson, with Drake London, with Desmond Ridder. We haven't seen the full show yet. That's what I'm worried about.
I think that was more of my look, is just the fact that we haven't. Bijan adds a different element there, and I think Drake London will actually be able to do something this year. Arthur Smith was pretty good with running the running back and then having his wide receiver and tight ends there to make plays. In Tennessee, I think that ends up happening in Atlanta. This is my last season for Kyle Pitts. If he doesn't do it this season, I know he's 22 years old, but I don't trust him.
It's ridiculous that people just give up on him that young.
Yep. I mean,
look, Jerry in the comments says it's math, really. Look at the vacated targets. Maybe not a wide receiver 1, but Sky will be good as a good flex. How often did you guys play Juju last year in your flex? What upside did Juju bring you? I know they're different players. But at least I can tell you this. Juju was the number 1 receiver last year. He was. We all knew that every game. Juju was going to be the primary target besides Kelce. This year, we don't know. That's why, Jerry, it's very difficult. It might be math. There might be vacated targets. That's true. But who says those vacated targets have to go to one single person? It's math, Jerry. It's a pie. You spread it out. It's butter. You put it on toast. So we have our individual starts of the week. Doesn't have to be a position. You could just say who you feel best at overall, right? I went a tight end and running back, and Justin went a quarterback and a running back. Do you want to start it off with your start?
Yeah. Let me I was creating a banner for you, but
Oh, okay.
it's
All
fine.
right. All right, I can go. I can go. I'm
No,
prepared.
you're good. I'm ready to go too. So my start of the week is kind of like my sit of the week for running backs. In a way. Uh it's gonna be in the Indianapolis game, and I'm just wasting time so I can get this up. Here we go. Trevor Lawrence. We're all talking about how Trevor Lawrence is gonna have an MVP like season, a top 5, top 10 QB season. I think this is the again, Indianapolis is trash in week 1. I can say that. I unfortunately watch them all the time. Trevor Lawrence is gonna light these guys up with all of his options. I mean, now we got Ridley. We were talking about Christian Kirk, definitely starting him this week. ETN, Evan Ingram, put them in whatever order you want. Last week we talked about Evan Ingram being like option number 2 or 3 on that offense. This week he could be 4 or 5, but Trevor Lawrence is going to absolutely eat this week, and I don't trust the Indianapolis defenders to actually stop him. He is my start of the week.
All right. My start of the week is very simple. Very if you have Kelce and you maybe this guy's on your waiver wire because he wasn't being drafted high. Matter of fact, a lot of people weren't drafting Tyler Higbee at all. And I've been pounding the table, this desk right here for Tyler Higbee all offseason. I think he's better than Evan Ingram. I don't understand why he's being drafted over Tyler Higbee, but I digress. Um, Tyler Higbee is going to be at least not one bet on the talent. The kid has juice. Yes, the kid has juice. Kyle Pitts. Tyler Higbee, I'm assuming you're talking about Kyle Pitts, Jerry, not reach for the sky more. Tyler Higbee is probably the number one target there because Cooper Kupp's already been officially out. I don't want to trust any Van Jefferson. He's just a guy. He's good for 5 for 56 and maybe a touchdown if you're lucky. This Tyler Higbee is going to be phased in this game. He has to be. He's their old faithful. He's going to catch a ton of balls this year. We already knew that. My only issue is he's going against Seattle. Division game. Those games are always tough. Tyler Higbee has not done well against Seattle. Not at all. He hasn't eclipsed over 50 yards since 2020. And that was a long time ago. So against Seattle, not against overall, just against Seattle. So Seattle does a good job of shutting him down. But this isn't the same Seahawks defense. Tyler Higbee has to be like back in the day, they had Cooper Kupp during those years. They had other options. This year, they don't. This year, going into week 1, they don't have an option. It's Tyler Higbee or bust. So if you're sitting there with Kelce and you see Higbee out there, I know I told you not to pick anyone up, but someone of like this caliber, just go check it out. Higbee might be on your waiver wire. Might be a good plug-in just in case Kelce doesn't play. He could be a tight end one this week. Most likely will be in the top 12 tight ends because of his target share. Fire up, Tyler Higbee. Jerry, bet on it. Talent.
I like it. So my sit of the week, I went with the running back position. A lot of people feel great about this guy, but not against that San Francisco defensive line. Even without Nick Bosa, I think it's still a strong unit. I got Najee Harris versus San Francisco. I still don't trust this Pittsburgh offense, let alone trust the hands of Najee. Kenny Pickett's going to be, he's still young. He still wants to prove that he can throw it down the field. He's still going to try to throw it down the field. Najee Harris was great his, rookie season 2 years ago with Big Ben because of why Big Ben couldn't throw it past 10 yards down the field. So he got a lot of receptions. Najee Harris isn't that same running back anymore. He's not going to get the same volume share, same amount of targets. He's going to get the volume, but they're also Jalen Warren will eat targets from him for some odd reason. They've got other guys that are going to take away his share. So I'm not starting Najee Harris against probably one of the league's best defenses.
Good old 3.8 yards per carry. Najee Harris. That's what I call him. 3.8. Useless. Very useless. Anyway, my guy is also a running back that I'm sitting. It's Breece Hall. You drafted him to be your running back 1 or 2. Unfortunately, look, it's not going to be this week or the next, or maybe in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be the Dalvin Cook show. I believe maybe a 60-40 split. Dalvin Cook leads the way because they already said they're going to ease Breece in very, very slowly. Now, I could be wrong, and I'm going to say this right here. It's going to be hard for me to say I'm sitting Breece Hall. It's going to be hard for me to do that. But if you're smart and you grab Dalvin Cook or someone as good, you can afford to miss 1 week. But look, you were drafting Jonathan Taylor in the 5th round, knowing he was out 4 weeks. You can sit Breece Hall and be fine. But man, I hope you were smart enough to draft Dalvin Cook. All you people out there that drafted Breece Hall, they've already made it known Breece isn't going to have a heavy workload. Why would you start a guy who might not ever get 10 carries in the first 4 weeks? The first month of the season, I doubt he'll get 10 carries a game. That's what you want. That's what you need from Breece. You need the catches. Dalvin Cook isn't dead. He's not old. He's 27 or 28 years old. He has one good season left in him. I mean, New York's the place where running backs go to thrive after their LaDainian Tomlinson, right? He went there and balled out. A lot of people do over there. Le'Veon Bell, don't say that name. He didn't ball out. It was awful. But Breece Hall, I would be very wary to start him this week against Buffalo. It might be a game where they just want to air it out as well, and then they don't use him in the run game, or he gets phased out. Hey, we're getting blown out, or hey, we're blowing him out. Why run our rookie out there, our sophomore guy out there?
Do we trust that Breece Hall is actually going to get the same kind of workload that he was getting in weeks 1 through 7 last year before his injury? Because Michael Carter was also supposed to be that guy, and then they immediately replaced him with Breece Hall. They drafted a rookie this year. They bring in Dalvin Cook. Is Breece going to be that guy ever?
Breece will be the guy. They invested a high draft capital in this guy. They know he's great. It's just they don't want to rush him back. And why would you? Why would you rush him back?
You don't want to win. Not with Aaron Rodgers.
Not with Aaron Rodgers. Not with Dalvin Cook. Not with Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall can definitely afford to. That's why I think they went out and got a Dalvin Cook, to give this guy time, to give him time to recover.
And still keep him as a contender.
Exactly. So that's the situation I'm at with Breece Hall. Sit him if you can afford it. Just, man, I would much rather have a Jerick McKissick out there. I just freaking combined two annoying players.
JD McKissick. Which one do you want?
I hate them both because they both steal freaking stuff from my
the most random times of the year too. That's the worst part.
That's who Jerick McKissick. That's who they are, those fuckers.
But yes, Jerick McKissick this week, guys. You heard it here first.
Yes,
only here.
So that's going to be it for the show. We're going to get on out of here. We are going to be live next Wednesday night talking about week 2, going into week 2. And don't forget to catch us Tuesdays at noon, starting this Tuesday, coming up after week 1. We're going to talk about the week. We're going to talk about waivers, the injuries, the news, whatever we're going to talk about. It's going to be fun times. Don't forget to join our Discord. It's in the comments somewhere. Maybe it's in the description. It'll be in the podcast description. All you podcasters out there, go to our YouTube page. Like our YouTube page, subscribe. If you want to be interacting with the show, that'd be awesome. We had a couple of people in here tonight interacting. It makes the show more fun. We appreciate you.
Gets us off on side tangents and other things like that. We love it.
At Finn's Talk Sports Network, at Josh Kimball OUS, at Justin Barley, Dirtbag Dave, wherever you are. I hope you're winning. I hope everything shows full house. What do we do? What, poker? Full house? Quad aces for Dave every single time.
Royal flush, Dave.
This one's for you, buddy. See you guys next week. We're out of here, man.